those in positions of authority are not brave enough to correct this error, I have taken it upon myself to reveal the truth. I have chosen you because of your discriminating eye, your intelligence, and your ability to think outside of convention. Although you may never meet, the three of you will work together in ways none of us can predict. If you show this to the authorities, you will most certainly be placing your life in danger. So this book has illustrations as well as the words on the pages, which I really like and appreciate. I feel like you're never too old to have some pictures in your book. I guess we can get started. One can't learn much and also be comfortable. One can't learn much and let anybody else be comfortable. Charles Fort, Wild Talents. Here's a map. With various places that will come up in the book. About pentominoes and about this story. A set of pentominoes is a mathematical tool consisting of 12 pieces. Each piece is made up of 5 squares that share at least one side. Pentominoes are used by mathematicians around the world to explore ideas about geometry and numbers. The set looks like this. Pentominoes are named after letters in the alphabet, although they don't all look exactly like their names. With a little practice, they can be used as a puzzle piece and put together into thousands of different rectangles of many sizes and shapes. This book begins like a set of pentominoes with separate pieces. Eventually, they will all come together. Don't be fooled by ideas that seem at first to fit easily. Don't be fooled by ideas that don't seem to fit at all. Pentominoes, like people, can surprise you. About the artwork, a challenge to the reader. If you look carefully at Brett Hellquist's chapter illustrations, you will find a hidden message. It is related to the pentomino code in the book, but not presented in exactly the same form. A certain living creature plays a part in deciphering the code, and pieces of the message appear in the artwork at regular intervals that create a pattern within the book. Here is a hint. This pattern is even but odd. It has many pieces as a set of pendominoes, and it lists a place you can check your answers online. Alright, I have switched over now to soft speaking because it's going to be easier to read and emote for you all. So please let me know if you want me to do more whisper or more soft spoken. So we are going to get into the chapters now. Chapter 1, 3 Deliveries. On a warm October night in Chicago, 3 deliveries were made in the same neighborhood. A plump tangerine moon had just risen over Lake Michigan. The doorbell had been rung at each place and an envelope left propped outside. Each front door was opened onto an empty street. Each of the 3 people who lived in those homes lived alone, and each had a hard time falling asleep that night. The same letter went out to all 3. Dear friend, I would like your help in identifying a crime that is now centuries old. This crime has wronged one of the world's greatest painters. As those in positions of authority are not brave enough to correct this error, I have taken it upon myself to reveal the truth. I have chosen you because of your discriminating eye, your intelligence, and your ability to think outside of convention. If you wish to help me, you will be amply rewarded for any risks that you take. You may not show this letter to anyone. 2 other people in the world have received this document tonight. Although you may never meet, the 3 of you will work together in ways none of us can predict. If you show this to the authorities, you will most certainly be placing your life in danger. You will know how to respond. I congratulate you on your pursuit of justice. The letter was not signed, and it had no return address. The man had sat down to a late dinner. He liked to read when he ate, but he was on page 4 of a new novel. Book in hand, he answered at the door. His spaghetti and meatballs were cold by the time he remembered them. He sat at the table for a long time, looking first at the letter and then out at the moon. Was this a joke? Who would go to the trouble of writing and sending such a letter? It was printed on expensive stationery, the kind you buy if you want to impress or be pretentious. Should he feel flattered? Suspicious? What did this person want from him? What kind of reward were they talking about? And who was it who knew him well enough to know he'd say yes? A woman tossed and turned in bed, her long hair trapping moonlight against the pillow. She was going over lists of names in her mind. The more she thought, the more agitated she became. She was not amused. Could this be a coincidence, or was it a clever warning? What exactly did this person know about her past? She finally got up. A cup of hot milk would calm her nerves. She moved carefully in the dark, using the watery rectangles of light that fell across the floor. She wasn't about to turn on the kitchen light. The names scrolled in tidy columns through her mind, each group belonging to a different chapter in her life. There was Milan, there was New York, there was Istanbul. But this was an invitation, not a threat. things got strange or frightening, she could always change her mind. Or could she? Another woman lay awake under the moon, listening to the wind and the occasional whine of a police siren. This was one of the weirdest coincidences ever. Was this letter insane or inspired? And was she just being gullible, thinking this person was really writing to her? Maybe hundreds of these letters had gone out, had her name been picked out of a phone book. Fake or not, the letter was intriguing. A centuries-old crime. What could this person be planning? And what about the spooky part? If you show this to the authorities, you will most certainly be placing your life in danger. Maybe this was a maniac, one of those serial killers. She pictured the police going through her apartment and finding the letter standing over her body and saying, "Geesh, she should have called us first thing. She could have been alive today." A lone cat yowled in the alley below her bedroom and she jumped, her heart pounding. Sitting up in bed, she shut the window and locked it. How could she not say yes? This was a letter that could alter history.